Good morning, and welcome back to Coffee and Sports. This is the morning show. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzek, and to my right is the man that knows better. It is Mo Better. Good morning, Mo.
Hey, good morning, Gene. Good morning, chat. Welcome to everybody out there.
I'm fired up this morning. We got a great show, and once again, Wednesdays in a row, we get to. I'm excited anytime I can get Chris on the line. I just want to hop you right in. We're gonna pop him right in the middle. It's my man Chris joining us, Mr. Miami Dolphins, Mr. Pop Culture Phenomena himself, running trivia questions through TikTok all day. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, gentlemen. How are we doing this morning?
Hey, morning, Chris.
Fired up. I'm fired up. I got some fun stuff today. I have, are we going crazy as a society things today? There's a lot of things that, like, me and Mo did this show a little while ago, and I had blind rank 5 of the stupidest things that happened in 1 week. On Wire to Wire, we had 7. You got to be kidding me. I promise you tonight, we will not. There's got to be more than 3, like in 1 week. And like, I don't know if it's the summer. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of dumb ones. But I want to get your natural reaction to a serious thing that happened, and then the response from our very own idiot. He's an absolute moron. He's been a staple of the show for years. We constantly talk about him, but I don't want to give it away yet in case you haven't heard it. So I would really love to get your natural reaction to it as I'm sharing everything out. All right, so I'm going to read you the story first, and I'm sure you've heard the story already. A gunman who killed 4 people at a Manhattan office building before killing himself was trying to target the headquarters of the NFL, but took the wrong elevator, officials said Tuesday. Investigators believe Shane Tamora, a 27-year-old Las Vegas casino worker, was trying to get into the NFL office after shooting several people Monday in the building lobby, but entered the wrong set of elevator banks. You guys have you guys heard this story?
Yes.
Okay. The part that drives me up an absolute wall is the way people react to stories and not understanding what happened. And I want to say this first is I want to send out prayers to the 4 people that lost their family members, that got shot, that were killed in that situation by a man who's obviously sick. There's something going on. He claims CTE from high school football. I don't know, but I want to just send out thoughts and prayers to his family. And then I'm going to read what a moron said about it. Thank God the New York City shooter apparently took the wrong bank of elevators and didn't make it to the NFL floors. He reportedly bizarrely blamed the NFL for what he believed to be CTE suffered from playing high school football. That was your very own Skip Bayless, who thought that comment was thanking God that he had got to the wrong floor. I'm sure that the 4 people that passed away, their families and friends are not thanking God the fact that he got off at the wrong floor and killed their family members. I hate opening the show with dumb news like that, but Skip Bayless is, I don't understand how he, and listen, I don't follow him. He's not like one of my followers. It's just his comments are so dumb. They go viral and they get in front of me and I have to talk about them. So Chris, Mo, I would love your natural reaction to the story and to what happened and the tweet once again by Skip Bayless, and remind you the same Skip Bayless that said, we got to continue this football game when Damar Hamlin was dead on the floor, or dead on the field. The same Skip Bayless that wouldn't apologize for his comments. The same Skip Bayless who said that Tyrese Halliburton was faking a calf injury before he tore his Achilles. Guy's a moron. So, Mo, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Chris. And I just love your natural reaction to what happened.
It's the fact that I think it's 5 families. It's 4 civilians and a police officer, right?
Correct. Yes, you're right.
So it's 5. that lost somebody that loved that that matters to them. It's a tragedy. And if you throw in the gunman who was clearly a sick individual, and I can't stress how important mental health is. People like Skip Bayless, who I've never taken serious, when we're dealing with real world stuff, when we're dealing with tragedy, I would prefer if people like Skip Bayless said less or nothing at all. And I'll leave it at that.
That was short but sweet, but perfect. Chris?
Skip has a place in the world of sports. He says things that are off the cuff. He says things that are ridiculous. He's a homer for the Dallas Cowboys. Those takes work in the world of sports. Those takes don't work outside the world of sports, because in the world of sports, you're allowed to be fanatic. You're allowed to be ridiculous. You're allowed to say nonsensical things that you can barely support by standing on one leg, but you chalk it up to, well, he really likes that player, or he really likes that team, or he's just trying to throw out a hot take, and we accept it because it's in the arena of sports. That's where Skip Bayless belongs. He's clear. My opinion aside, I wish I had Skip Bayless money. I wish I had Skip Bayless's platform. I wish that I somehow kept getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity that Skip Bayless receives. I take nothing away from his career and what he's accomplished. I don't have to agree with his opinions, but I think a lot of what you see Skip Bayless do is the show, right? It's the entertainment side of it. I would like to believe he isn't as delusional as he comes across. However, I think that Skip Bayless at times has an issue stop being Skip Bayless. And I think that Skip Bayless thinks that he has an opinion on everything. He should have an opinion on everything. And he shouldn't. He shouldn't. He should focus his opinion in the world of sports, and he should leave it there. It doesn't mean that his opinion isn't valid. It doesn't mean that, the people that like him and want to be around him and want to hear his opinion don't have a right to hear it. But again, when your platform is built on what you accomplish in this industry, keep it there. Because when you have a history of saying insensitive things, or things that are not true, or things that are just asinine and ridiculous and tone deaf and look terrible 2 hours later, then you should keep it to something as lighthearted as sports, which he has even also found times to make not lighthearted and to make very serious and to fumble in that arena. Keep it in sports, because once you step outside, you're still doing the same Skip Bayless crap that gets you in trouble in the world of sports, but now you're doing it in a much more serious situation.
Yeah.
Shut up and dribble, Skip. Shut up and dribble.
I think that's all we'll say on that. Obviously, CTE is a really serious situation. It happened in the NFL, and I think that the NFL for years has done everything they can to cover up CTE, and I think it's very obvious with the movies that came out with like Concussion and some of the some of the back channel conversations that have happened that have been on numerous Netflix specials, but I just never can imagine thanking God because the NFL executives are okay, but the 5 people that lost their lives aren't. So we're in somber news. Want to move past that. I'm Chris. I have you here, and I love having you here for a baseball conversation. And one of the things that drives me the most nuts in MLB this year is how bad the umpires are. It's almost like they want the robo umpires to come in for balls and strikes because of how bad they've been. But when they're so bad, and then they like rub it in your face and they're like staring you down. This just happened Monday night, and I have to show you this video. And I don't know if you've seen the full context of the video, but I have it.
Is it the Mets one? Is it the Angels one?
Mets one?
There's like 3 of them.
It's the Mets one.
The Angels one was more brutal than the Mets one.
Oh, this is I think it's brutal for different ways, but let me just share this real quick. Share. I think I have the floating screen up. Can you guys see that?
No.
Okay. Well, that's great. Give me a second.
It happens. Technical difficulties.
Share. How
There
about
we go. There we
There
go.
we are.
There
Right,
we
so-
are.
I'm going to rewind this to the beginning.
Stares at Juan, wanting a reaction.
And Cease misses. Oh, we got a generous call off the plate. And Soto's a little high. And the breaking ball is in there for a call, strike 3. And Soto has more to complain about with Emil Jimenez. And we better watch it. Carlos Mendoza comes out to save his player. Carlos Mendoza's been ejected. And Soto takes a slider up out of his zone. Did he call it a strike? No. No, come on.
And that time it looked like he was looking at him, hoping for a response. I don't like that. This pitch is clearly above the zone. I mean, that's at his elbow. That's high. He delays, calls a strike, and then just stares at Juan, wanting a reaction. Okay, you want to say something? Nah. So make yourself a part of the...
I'll stop sharing there. Put us back to the normal screen. But the part I have an issue with there is, and what drives me the most nuts about it is, it's not the bad calls. Bad calls have happened all year. You just said it. The one in the Angels game is worse. And I agree with you. What bothers me about there is obviously a ball outside, really far outside. Juan Soto takes issue with that ball. The next one was borderline, and you can actually see like a tip of the ball hitting the zone. I think that's a borderline strike. With 2 strikes, you might have to foul that one off. I'm not arguing that. I'm not going down with that situation. I follow and understand why that was called a strike. Where I have an issue is you didn't throw Juan Soto out of the game after the huge argument that happened. You threw the manager out, which is fine. Juan Soto then comes back, and it was almost like Carlos Mendoza was like, I'm just waiting for you to get back up so I can screw you again. And that pitch, it's like he knows it's a ball. He delays. He waits for Juan Soto's reaction, then calls the strike 3, and then stares him down. This is the highest paid player in baseball. You are an umpire, which 99% of people watching the game do not know your name. The game cannot be about you. And by the way, that game ended 7-6 San Diego. It was a 1-run game that was a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th inning. I'm not a Mets fan. I'm actually a Phillies fan. I am happy the Mets lost the baseball game. That was wrong. I love your reactions.
So I don't know if it was that game or it was another game earlier in the series, but there was the Vientos situation as well, where Vientos literally had 3 balls in a row that were called strikes. And he was rung up. He didn't argue. He just put his head down and he walked away. What we're seeing in Major League Baseball, and I think part of this is social media, right? Like, I love what John Boy does. I think John Boy is freaking hilarious. Like, I consume his content. But a lot of times his content is not friendly to umpires. Let's be honest. It really, really isn't. Then you have TikTok and you have Instagram and you have all this technology and you have the robo umpires on the horizon. They're being used in the minor leagues. And I think it has created this dynamic in baseball where umpires are more so than ever just on the defensive. And they're quick with the hook. I mean, Juan Soto, he only was a Yankee for a short amount of time. But as a Yankee, Juan Soto has a pretty damn good eye. There were not many, and I have my personal feelings because he didn't resign, but there are not many people in Major League Baseball today who I think have a better eye than Juan Soto. 9 times out of 10, if Soto didn't swing, it wasn't a strike. And if it was a strike, he would usually tip his head and be like, "Oh, that you got me on that one. I misread it." So Soto usually is that guy. If he's not swinging because it isn't a strike. I think that bothers umpires, Gene. I think it bothers umps when Soto doesn't swing because he knows it's a ball or he's telling you it's a ball. And then you call it a strike, and all of a sudden now you have tension because Juan's like, "Well, I know that was a ball. That's why I didn't swing. I don't know what you're doing back there." You know, and right away we have tension. It's very clear what the umpire did. It's very clear the umpire was pissed off. It's very clear that the umpire was taking it out on Juan Soto. And it's very clear the umpire was in his feelings. And, maybe he was recently on John Boy. Maybe he was recently somebody out. But I think that's where we are. I think it's such an elevated and emotional state right now for Major League Baseball umpires. And the report cards, as great as they are, they're not helping all of them because they help the good ones. They're not helping the not so good ones. And like you said, I think this is all just kind of the rise to the peak for the robo umps to come in, because the quality of umpiring overall this season is drastically less, in my opinion, than it's been the last 7, 8, 9 years. There's always human error. There's always egregious umpires. There's always bad games. There's always bad calls. It's baseball. It's the human side of it. It happens. But literally what we are seeing this season, and I've seen 3 of them this past week and a half, is at-bats where not a single strike is being thrown and guys are striking out looking. And they didn't even see a strike. And some of them are not even close. And now you got this thing where the catchers are setting up down low and they're bringing they're framing better. But again, if you're an umpire, you got to figure that shit out. Like, if it's not a strike, it's not a strike. Figure out what you're doing. Figure out how to see the ball better. I don't want to hear the excuse, well, the catcher framed it really nice. That's great if it's an inch or 2 off the plate. If it's 7 inches outside, I don't want to hear the catcher framed it nicely, because it's still 7 inches outside, or it's still 7 inches down below. And we're just seeing bad games after bad games when it used to just be bad calls or a bad series, but now we're just seeing consistently poor umping across Major League Baseball, and we all know where it's heading to.
Yeah, robo-umps. Mo, your thoughts on the Juan Soto situation? I do have one more funny video I want to make, have you guys laugh at with umpires, but it's the funniest one I think I've ever shown. But yeah, Mo, your thoughts on the Juan Soto situation?
I just think that the referee, the umps are becoming more of the game than they should be. And I do feel like they feel the pressure of change coming with the robo umps. And I do think it becomes personal that they feel like with Soto, I think clearly he felt like he was showing him up, and it wasn't showing him up. But there's a reaction to that, and it's unnecessary. He's seeing a strike, and Soto's sitting there like, "What are you talking about?" I get that. So I do think the relationship between umps and players, it's become a little bit more erratic, because I do feel the umps feeling the pressure of what's to come. I think they're reacting to that. I think there's a pressure there, and they don't know how to handle it.
Well, you couldn't be more correct. And I want to answer Jory's question. She said, are the umps genuinely doing this to speed the game up? I generally question that. This video will change your mind. This is just, I think Chris knows where this one's going to be. This is just really funny. This was called a ball, by the way.
Wait a minute. What is going on at home plate? Brian Walsh, man.
That's literally right down the middle.
I mean, you couldn't set it on a tee in the heart of the plate any better than. Look at this pitch right here. How do you miss that?
I can't do it. It's too much. Right down the middle of the plate.
And it creates that moment because, and let's say the umpire just missed it, right? And he realizes he missed it in the moment. Well, now it's the catcher's pissed off at me. He's looking back at me. Is he going to say something? Because if he says something, I'm going to run him. The pitcher's staring me down. Is he going to say something? Because if he says something, I'm going to run him. I can hear the dugout over here barking at me. Is he going to say something? Because I'm going to run him. They go right into, you see the umpire looking around. You see him who's going to come say something? Because that's where it escalates to so quickly. And I get it. You have to keep control of the game, right? You can't allow players and managers to feel like they have a certain amount of rope, because then it's different with every umpire. So I always lean, it's better to have a quick hook than the slow hook, because that just leads to more issues. But come on. And I don't know, obviously we all know if I'm the umpire, can't he just be like, my bad to the cat? Like, like, sorry. I was looking out left field. My bad. Like, do something to like try to laugh it off, because now you're in the situation where what if 2 pitches later it's another kind of obvious one and he missed? People are now, the catcher is going to be escalated now because he's like, well, shit, if he missed that one, like, why do I think I'm going to get a call on the corner if he couldn't give me that one?
The pitcher clearly missed on that pitch and threw it right down the middle of the plate, and the batter was clearly not ready for that pitch to come right down the middle of the plate, and the umpire was just shocked.
But the beauty of it was there was nothing there. The glove was over. The umpire had a straight shot at it because the catcher was shifted over, the glove was shifted over, the batter didn't swing. All the umpire was looking at down the tunnel was the ball right down the middle, and he froze too.
It's been so bad this year. All right, so off Major League Baseball, just wanted to kind of get those couple tidbits in. The trade deadline is happening today. It's been a very uneventful trade deadline.
We'll see what happens today.
You think
Dylan Cease to the Yankees. Let's go.
So is that your prediction?
The Yankees are going to add a pitcher. I don't know who they're going to add. I don't think it's going to be Cease. I'm looking at Bieber from the Guardians. Yeah. I think the Guardians are going to move Kwan and Bieber. I think Kwan ends up with the Blue Jays. The Yankees have been talking to Pittsburgh about Keller. He's a good piece. The Yankees need pitching. Heel comes back this week, so that's a good thing. Judge is on the DL for 10 days. But they need pitching. And right now what you're looking at is the bullpen's a little banged up and because they're overworked right now. And you're just not getting length out of your starting pitchers. So I think they're going to make a move for pitching. I don't think it's going to be an A tier player. I think it's going to be a B minus player. But they need some pitching depth to get them through the second half. And then you look at these teams that are, what do we do? Do we sell? Do we buy? I'm looking at Tampa Bay. I don't know what they're going to do. I think Cleveland's going to sell. I look at a team like the Padres. They just have so much payroll. And I think they want to shed contracts over there. I don't think they're going to sell in the sense that they're giving up on the season or anything crazy like that. But I think they would love to get some financial maneuverability here during the trade deadline and move a piece just to free up some money on their side. So I think that's what we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see a ton of moves here at the deadline, but I think we're going to see a couple where we're like, oh, so that's a solid piece.
My favorite was yesterday's trade that happened in the middle of a double
mid-game. Yep.
So the Toronto Blue Jays are playing the Baltimore Orioles, and game 1 of the doubleheader happens, and the Blue Jays absolutely get shelled. They get beat like 16-4. And I don't know if they needed bullpen help for game 2, but in the middle of the doubleheader, they made a trade for Sir Anthony Dominguez to be traded from Baltimore to Toronto. Like he just walked down the hallway. There's a new team. That's it. It's the shortest trade of all time. I don't know if Sir Anthony was active for game 2. Someone's got to help me understand whether he was or not. But that is insanity. I've never seen anything like that. Just trade in the middle of a doubleheader. We played game 1. You guys kicked. I think we need an extra arm in our bullpen. Let's just put him over. Eugenio Suarez getting hit in the hand might slow down him. And then I forgot to bring this up, but I'd love to bring it up just for a second. Emmanuel Clase, who is the Guardians closer, who he pitched in the second game. Oh my God, that's amazing. I didn't see that. He said he pitched. But Emmanuel Clase, who was the Guardians closer and who's the guy I want the Phillies to get really bad, has been put on the baseball exempt list right now for the same thing that happened earlier in the season with another Guardians pitcher that is throwing pitches. And there's somebody involved in this that has to be close linked to Cleveland, but Clase had 22-0-0 pitches that were nowhere near the strike zones. 21 of them were not swung at. So it's very obvious they're betting on first pitch ball, first pitch strike. And these Guardians pitchers are just throwing a pitch in the dirt. It's absolutely insane. He won't be moved now. They don't know what's going to happen with him. Gambling in sports is going to be a problem for years to come. but it won't be outlawed again because of how much revenue it brings in. Mo, did you see the report on Clase?
No, I did not see it.
So really good closer for the Guardians. Basically 22 pitches at 0-0 counts that were like feet out of the strike zone, like hitting the dirt before it hit the plate. Like one of them hit the grass. The other one was so far outside, like 0-0 pitches. Like, and it's obvious that someone's betting the first pitch will be a ball, and he is making sure the player doesn't swing, because if the player swings at the pitch, it counts as strike no matter where it is. So he's throwing them so far off the strike zone that, you can't swing. And then the gambler is cashing their bet. And there's like exorbitant amount of bets being placed on his first pitch being a ball. So these gambling companies are like, we're tired of getting destroyed with this first pitch ball. And they're starting to find reports of these guys doing it intentionally.
When you make a lot of money, sometimes you think you're the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
And this is just a situation where you're not. Less is more. Like, you do it a couple of times, you're probably gonna get away with it. Once they're able to start seeing a pattern, like, the house always wins. So once you start stealing from the house, like, common sense is the house is going to get pissed off, and the house is going to be like, wait a minute, let me just send this over to Major League Baseball real quick, Emmanuel. We'll see how often you keep doing this nonsense. That's basically what happened. They were basically like, we're losing a bunch of money on this. Clearly the fix is in. Like, and that's what they do, by the way. Like, if you know even the smallest a bit about gambling, casinos, sports betting, it's a constant stream of stats and data and reports and what is hitting, what isn't hitting, who's betting, what's betting, when are they betting, how much are they betting, how close to the end are they betting, because they're just looking for trends. And if you're the house, you're looking to make sure everything is on the up and up. And it was like a couple of years ago when they got busted for betting on college baseball, but it was some random college baseball team that, like, nobody would ever bet big money on. And all of a sudden, like, 4 huge bets came in on this one college baseball team. And of course they were like, well, that's weird. And then they all hit and they're like, no.
I did look it up too. Sir Anthony Dominguez pitched the 8th inning. 1 inning pitched, 0 hits, 0 runs, 12 pitches, 2 strikeouts versus his former team.
My man.
That is incredible.
That's a pro's pro.
I do have more madness, but it's not in baseball. And by the way, Jory, I want to answer your question. The Braves are going to sell, and they are out of it. And now with Acuna Jr. being placed on the IL with a fear of an Achilles injury, they are 100% going to be sellers. I think that they need to get prospects back. What'd you say?
Would you move him?
Oh, Acuna?
Yeah.
You can't move him. Because if he tore his Achilles, you don't know what's going to happen.
Someone will take him when he comes back. When
he comes back, maybe.
Yeah.
But the Braves have been a staple in baseball for years. They have a great farm system. They have some of the best scouts in all of baseball. They have a lot of great young pitching. I don't know if I move my biggest star, but he's constantly hurt. Like, this
if you're another team, do you make an offer when he comes back? I think he's making like 12.5 a year. It's very manageable what he's making.
You're gonna make an offer, but I think that, like, I'll give only because I understand the Phillies farm system so well, that if you're the Phillies, they're gonna want Painter, who's a top 5 prospect in baseball. They're gonna want Justin Crawford, the Phillies have 5 top 100 prospects in baseball. The Braves would want 3 of them for Ronald Acuna Jr.
The Braves are going to want Acuna at his ceiling. They're not going to want Acuna with the possibility he's going to get injured again. Speaking of the Phillies, what reliever are they getting?
I still want Mason Miller from Oakland. That's who I want.
I've been hearing Griffin Jacks a lot.
I'm okay with that. Phillies need a reliever. It's constantly a turnstile of the Phillies not having bullpen help. And Alvarado obviously didn't help that out, getting suspended for 100 games for PEDs, and he's not postseason eligible. By the way, that's got to be the dumbest suspension in baseball. Just suspend him for the whole year. They suspended him for 100 games, and he's not eligible for postseason. so he could play the last 62.
Help you get there,
But like, why?
but then not playing it.
Suspend him for the whole year at that point. I don't want him for the last 62.
Correct.
But we'll see how that breaks down. I do have more madness, though. I want to go into more madness. And guys, I'm an Eagle. What you guys know, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm not gonna give you the homer glasses. I do want to ask you guys a question. Last year we had a pretty good rookie class. We had some great players, and they're already in the top 100. Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. A lot of these guys have already cracked the top 100. Even Marvin Harrison Jr., who wasn't in the top 100, a lot of people think he's going to be really good. You got even the quarterback situation. Drake May had a good year. Bo Nix had a good year. A lot of those guys, obviously Jaden Daniels, he'll be higher up on this list. He hasn't been up there yet. But outside of the quarterbacks, who do you think had the best rookie season out of any rookie player last year? Could it be Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors? What are your thoughts?
Neighbors sticks out to me, but I'm not gonna toss around my football knowledge, the NFL genius himself here, because I know he's got the deep dive stats on the defensive side of the football too. But I like Neighbors here. Neighbors stood out to me. Obviously, I think Jaden was the big one, but if we're going non-quarterback, I'm gonna go Neighbors.
I like Brian Thomas Jr. I think the chemistry that he and Sunshine had, it gives Jacksonville some kind of hope, because this is a big year for Sunshine. Some people will say it's a make or break year for him.
The Philadelphia Eagles had a really good rookie cornerback by the name of Quinyon Mitchell. Played great football last year. Locked down opposite of Darius Slay. Now, I don't think he'll be on the top 100 list. He might be. He might be higher. I don't know. The guy I didn't expect to be on the top 100 list was Cooper DeJean, who ranked it as number 60, ahead of Brian Thomas Jr., ahead of Malik Neighbors. Yeah, that's right. The guy that sat the first 4 games, that was a backup, that came in after the bye week to play nickel cornerback for the Eagles, is listed number 60 on the NFL's top 100. I'm an Eagles fan. I love Cooper DeJean. Matter of fact, I have a Cooper DeJean jersey. I think he's going to be awesome. He's fun to watch. Are we out of our mind, NFL players? Are we looking too far into the fact that he tackled Jamar Chase behind the line of scrimmage? Are we just looking at the pick 6 in the Super Bowl and being like, well, he had a pick 6 in the Super Bowl? Because this is madness. I want to read this out loud. Cooper DeJean, 2024 stats, 16 games active out of 17. Started 12. 51 tackles, 3 TFLs, one of them is the Jamar Chase, a half of a sack, 0 interceptions, 6 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries. That to me sounds like a mid-tier corner in the NFL. Not number 60 on the top 100. We're losing our minds. This is absolutely insane.
Prisoner of the moment. Mo and I talk about this all the time. You look at the Super Bowl, you look at big defensive plays from the Super Bowl. He had one. Yeah. And now you're sitting here saying, who are some good cornerbacks in the NFL? The kid from the Eagles, Cooper, him. Not thinking what he did during the regular season. And then they're like, he had the Jamar. You see the Jamar play? Yeah. That's what it is. You're a prisoner of the moment. You're a prisoner of big plays. You're a prisoner of the highlight reel. And sometimes we get so lost in the highlight reel that we forget that there's a body of work that goes with the highlight reel. And sometimes we don't acknowledge the body of work.
They asked Jordan Mailata about Cooper DeJean being in the top 100. Jordan Mailata finished number 69 in the top 100. Jordan Mailata was ranked the number 1 left tackle in football last year by PFF. They said, wait, Cooper made the top 100? Good for Cooper. And found out he was 60. And the shock and awe, they told Cooper DeJean he made the top 100. He was like, what? Are you really? And it was just a true sense of befuddlement And to find out he finished 60 ahead of players, like if I was Jalen Ramsey, I would be losing my goddamn mind. I know Jalen Ramsey didn't have a great year last year, but Jalen Ramsey, who's been a top corner in football, finished number 62. Cooper DeJean, who was a rookie, who didn't even start the whole year, finished 60. There's something wrong. Mo, your thoughts on Cooper?
Chris nailed it. It really is prisoner of the moment. And I do think he's a good young player. And I know they make these lists with a projection, but I don't know how you have him that high based off of the season that he had. Even if you factor in that he had the pick 6 in the Super Bowl, which is a great moment. But like you said, Jalen Ramsey, even not having an elite Jalen Ramsey year, is still a better football player. And it's crazy. It's crazy that a guy like Mailata is that far behind him. Like, Mailata should be levels ahead of him. Like, I'm not raining on Cooper DeJean. I'm just trying to figure out how do they actually go into a room and do these rankings and make sense of it. That's all.
And the funny part is Jalen Ramsey, 17 games, 60 tackles, 6 TFLs, 4 quarterback carries, a sack, 11 passes defended, 2 interceptions, versus Cooper DeJean, 16 games, 51 tackles, that's less. 3 TFLs, that's less. Half a sack, that's less. 6 passes defended, that's less. 1 forced fumble, that's the same. 0 interceptions, that's less. Like, what are we doing? I don't. Well, if Quinyon Mitchell is like top 50, I'm going to lose my mind. And he was good last year. He was really good. Watch, I'm telling you right now, Quinyon Mitchell's going to be top 50.
He's going to be top 50.
It's insanity. I can't do it. I can't do it. I just reading the 70 through 61, Frankie Louvu, who was incredible last year, he had 100 tackles, 8 sacks. Jordan Mailata, the number 1 ranked PFF left tackle. Jordan Love, which, by the way, I got to talk about him for 1 second. Malik Neighbors, 109 receptions. Jalen Ramsey, Trey McBride, 111 receptions. Bo Nix got overrated. We talked about that. Josh Hines Allen, Bijan Robinson, 1,500 yards on the ground last year. And Brian Thomas Jr., 1,300 receiving yards, 10 receiving touchdowns. All ranked below Cooper DeJean. By the way, did you guys see Mike Tannenbaum's top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC?
I can't stand Mike Tannenbaum.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I might have saw it, and maybe it was a different one, but I believe he had Baker 1, didn't he?
No. He had Baker 5.
Wait, but he didn't have Jalen Hurts.
He had Jalen 4.
It was something. Who did he have at the top? It's who he had at the top.
I got you.
That blew my mind.
He went with Baker 5, Jalen 4, Jaden 3, Jared Goff 2, and number 1. Oh, by the way, who's missing? Like I stop
all the good quarterbacks in the league.
Where's Stafford?
No, NFC. It's just NFC only.
Oh, okay.
Where's Stafford?
Stafford's not on the list.
Yeah.
No, Matty Stafford got it.
Stafford. Oh, he got Jordan Love 1.
He had Jordan Love 1. And Ryan Clark and Stephen A. Smith are looking at this and they're like, I like Jordan Love. I don't want to sound like a hater or anything, but Tannenbaum goes, well, who's better than him? He's like, every other guy on the list.
I saw that. Yeah.
Every other guy on the list. He didn't have Stafford on the list, had Jalen Hurts 4. And but that's Tannenbaum's out of his damn mind. Out of his mind.
And he uses the argument. It's weird because the same argument he uses to say, well, the reason why I don't have Stafford ranked here or there, he's 37 with a bad back. But he uses the same logic to go, Aaron Rodgers is 42, but he can throw the football better than anybody else. Like, but you're using that against Stafford, who's got a better offensive line, better weapons around him. Make it make sense.
Did we see Pete Prisco rank the quarterbacks in the AFC East?
No. Well, let me hear.
Two was last.
In the AFC East?
Yep.
That's crazy. The Drake May hype has got to calm down.
It's ridiculous.
And to have Tua, listen, I'm the biggest Justin Fields supporter in the world. I am. I think it's me, Justin's mom, and like 3 other guys. And, like, it's me. I'm on that. I had him top 10, and I remember Chris was like, "You're out of your mind." Like, I remember that. I am the biggest Justin Fields supporter. You can't have Justin Fields ranked ahead of Tua right now. You can't. I could see it being Josh
Or Drake
Allen.
May.
No, Drake May. That's a joke. That's laughable.
I mean, Allen's one. I'm not even going to
Yeah.
argue. I don't like him, but he's clearly the best quarterback in the division. But how can you sit here and make an argument? And I get it. Like, you want to talk about potential. I think May has potential.
100%.
He had flashes. I think Justin Fields has had more flashes than Drake May. But look at consistency of, again, body of work, right? What are we saying if you're gonna tell me that Drake May or Justin Fields is ahead of Tua Tagovailoa coming into the season? Just tell me what it's based on. Is it based on the fact that, Drake May had a few flashes last season? Is it based on the fact that through Justin's career on 2 different teams, at moments he's looked like a Lamar Jackson light, which isn't a compliment, by the way, with what he can do with both his arm and his legs? Or are we looking at Tua, who has a 600 winning percentage as a starting quarterback? Who, I mean, I don't. You start looking at stats; it's not even close. You start looking at wins and losses; it's not even close. You want to talk about injury history? Sure, I'll give it to you. Tua can't stay healthy, but Justin's dealt with injuries. Drake hasn't. Drake's good there, but I don't know what we're looking at. Are we talking about weapons? Because I'm pretty sure Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle still play for the Dolphins. I don't. Who plays for the Patriots? Stephon Diggs? What are we talking about here? I get it. You want to be optimistic, but come on.
I just don't like hot takes. And I feel like every one of my takes I can back up with something, right? Like, and I just don't know how you can back. And like I said, one of the best Justin Fields fans there is. Me, Justin's mom, and a couple other guys in the room. And I can't justifiably rank Justin Fields ahead of Tua right now. There's no way. And I think that what Miami did this offseason is really sneaky. They brought in a guy, and I think was a great offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, and Bobby Slowick, to be on their quarterback room. I think he's a genius. I think he'll be an NFL head coach one day. I'm a big Bobby Slowick guy. I think he was the reason that CJ Stroud had such a great rookie season. And I think him and CJ got into such ridiculous arguments over Bobby trying to help CJ grow and CJ wanting to fight against the things that he was asking him to do. I think that's a genius move. I also am a huge fan of Quinn Ewers. I think he's NFL potential. I think Quinn Ewers is Brock Purdy of this draft. 7th round guy that could be a very, very good quarterback in the NFL. He's got the arm talent. He just needs the right system. That guy can throw Tyreek Hill. That guy can throw in Jalen Waddle open and throw the long ball. So it'll be interesting to see. And they obviously redid Minkah Fitzpatrick's contract to create a little bit more. Minkah Fitzpatrick is not the coverage safety he was in the prime of his career, but he's still a very intelligent player. And I think that he'll help a lot in the back half of that defense. So speaking of the offense, and
did you see the Madden ratings, gentlemen?
Well, that's my next comment. I got the
Let's go.
The 99. EA reveals full Madden NFL 26 99 club. So, Chris, I'm assuming you've seen this already.
Oh, I've seen it.
Okay, so I'm going to read them out loud, and then we're going to discuss who's on the list, who's not on the list.
All right.
Okay. Obviously, they always have the cover athlete. This year, it's Saquon Barkley. Deserves a 99. He's a 99. Also, Eagles teammate Lane Johnson earned his first 99. I think that's well earned. There's no issues there from me. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, both 99s. Patrick was a 98. He deserves a drop off. No issues there. Jamar and Jettas were both 99s, as well as Myles Garrett. Am I missing one, Chris? I think I have all of them. That's the list.
I think you have all of them.
So Myles Garrett, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Lane Johnson, and Jalen Hurts. They're your club 99s.
Let me ask you this, Gene.
Yes.
we talk about quarterbacks a lot, right?
Yep.
And we talk about like quarterback top 10 lists and how your top 10 list, it really shouldn't be changing. Any all-time top 10 list really shouldn't be changing year over year. Is that fair?
Yes, correct.
Right. Okay. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL. Been in three straight Super Bowls. You look at his statistics for the playoffs, he's dominating all of them right now, first or second. He's going to probably end up first or second in all of them. What did Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson do? They didn't beat him.
No.
They didn't get to a Super Bowl. Josh somehow won an MVP with stats that weren't MVP worthy. Lamar had the better stats. But why are they? Because Patrick had a down season? He's still the best quarterback in the NFL. Like, I look at that and I say, okay, are you telling me that you really think you really think going into this season that Patrick Mahomes is the third best quarterback in the NFL? You lost your damn minds. He's not. Last time Patrick wasn't ranked in the 99 club or the best quarterback in the game, he had his best season ever. Like, I get it. Like, you want to acknowledge what Lamar did because he had an unbelievably amazing statistical year. And you want to give respect to Josh Allen because he won an MVP, whether you think he deserves it or not. So you want to do something to elevate them and kind of put them on a level. And it would make sense because Patrick didn't have the best statistical year to drop him. But I don't know. I don't know why we're saying Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback in the NFL right now coming into Madden this year.
I don't think that's what they're saying, though. I understand what the ratings are telling you, but like, hear me out when I say this, right? And it's nothing against Patrick at all. I'm obviously a big Patrick Mahomes fan as a player, but we got to call it for what it is. I'm going to read these things out loud to you. 38 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 4,800 yards. 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 4,800 yards. 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 5,200 yards. They gave him club 99 after the fifth 41 and 12. 4,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks. They kept him at 99. And then 3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 picks. They dropped him to a 98. His QBR, his yards, his touchdowns, his turnovers have all been up the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. I understand what he does come playoffs, but here's what needs to be said out loud. Quarterbacks of all time are ranked upon their wins and what they do in the biggest moments. But in Madden, they're ranked off their stats and what they've done in the previous years. And Patrick Mahomes has been above average to mid-tier quarterback in the regular season the last 2 years. What he does in the playoffs is different and what makes him elite. These are not playoff rankings. These are Madden rankings. And both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson put up video game numbers last year.
They did.
Lamar Jackson had 41 touchdowns and 4 picks. And 3 of those picks weren't his fault. They were off receivers' hands. It was insanity, the type of numbers he put up last year, which, by the way, Lamar Jackson earned the MVP last year. He should have been the MVP, but they didn't give it to him because they gave it to him the year they should have gave it to CMC 2 years ago and voter fatigue. With that being said, I still think Patrick's a better overall quarterback, but you can't ignore what the Chiefs have been helped by having a tremendous offensive head coach in Andy Reid and a tremendous top 5 defense the last 3 years with Steve Spagnuolo. So that's my opinion.
I think we're in agreement. Madden is more about your numbers and your stats that you do in the regular season. Because for me, it's simple. If you put Josh Allen on that Chiefs offense with everything that Patrick doesn't have around him, or Lamar doesn't have around him, I don't think they end up in the Super Bowl.
Oh, listen. If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, I think this Chiefs team is a very good defensive team. I think they go 9-8 if you have just a mid-tier quarterback. I understand what he does. And their receiving situation over there, it doesn't get any better this year. Hollywood Brown's already hurt in camp. Rashee Rice is definitely going to be suspended for at least 4 games, probably 6. And Travis Kelce is is definitely on the back 9. Jory is referring to Derrick Henry should be a 99. That is one of the ones where people, I guess it's a very good debate. Do we think that we should have 2 running backs as a 99? Should Derrick Henry be a 99?
I wouldn't have a problem with it, only because you just reeled off a bunch of numbers that Mahomes had done, and then the decrease. Henry is kind of defying the over 30 thing as a running back. Why wouldn't he be a 99? Like, he just missed having a 2,000-yard season at age 31, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down.
I just think that, and Chris, I'll go right to you after this, and I just want to put this out there. When Club 99 started, it was like Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Like J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
It was like one guy, 2 guys. And every year they've been a little bit more lenient with Club 99. And now they have 7 guys at Club 99. And I don't, listen, I can make an argument for Derrick Henry making it and maybe move Josh Allen down to a 98. But if I'm EA, I'm like, this club is becoming less and less exclusive. It feels like the NBA Hall of Fame soon, where everybody gets in. I feel like I would maximize it. Like, it cannot be more than 5 guys. And them having 7 this year is a little much. I don't think being a 98 in Madden is a bad thing. I think 99 should be reserved for the best of the best, the guaranteed Hall of Famers. And Derrick Henry is one of those guys. So I want to be clear when I say that. I have no problem if Derrick Henry is a 99. But last year, Travis Kelce was a 99. Like, he wasn't a 99. Chris, your thoughts on that?
Where was TJ Watt?
TJ Watt's a 97. He was injured last year for 5 games.
Yeah. All right. I mean, it is what it is. I think less is more with the 99 club. I think you should look at it and you should, go into. I'm a big fan of going into things with a set structure first and then working from there. So if you go into it saying we're going to have 5 spots, at most it's going to be 3 offense and 2 defense, or 3 defense and 2 offense, and then we'll decide from there. And then you fit the pieces into the puzzle based on what you already set up. I have no idea how they do it. Maybe they do it that way. Maybe they said they wanted 7 this year. I have no idea. Instead of going in there with, sky's the limit and who do we think? Because again, when you start coming out, what is it going to be next year? It's going to be 8 guys. Like, if you got 7, why can't you have 8? If you got 8, why can't you have 9? If you keep allowing the number to get bigger, there's no reason it can't always be that number. And I don't think you should have 799 players.
No.
I think less is more. I think 3 or 4 is where it should be. And again, the last thing we want is the Madden rankings being the Cooper DeJean at number 60 on the top 100 NFL players list.
That's a good,
because you never want to come to a point where someone eye rolls at a 99 in Madden, because at that point you've lost all credibility. I'm not saying we're there yet, but I'm saying is when you keep opening that door to give more 99s out, you're going to come up to a point where someone's going to eye roll it, and being the 99 isn't going to be what it was 10 years before, and you don't want to put yourself in that spot if you're Madden.
I like that. I think the 99 should be reserved for the great iconic players, like rest his soul, Reggie White was a 99, right? Like some Deion Sanders at the peak of his powers was a 99. Like that makes sense to me. I think that 99s, maybe you should have 3 guys or 1 guy, but it should be so special that whoever has it should stand out. The number shouldn't be going up. I agree with that. And look, at anybody that's played Madden, by the way, as a side note, you can have 5 99s on your team. It doesn't mean you're going to win or anything like that. Like, that's, if you know how to play, you can beat 99s with 89s.
Yeah, and I'll say this as an Eagle fan, Lane Johnson's was more of a lifetime achievement award. I don't think Lane's the best tackle on his own team. And I watch the Eagles every week, and this is what one of the biggest travesties in watching NFL football is the way they grade offensive linemen, and the way they grade sacks. Like, oh, Lane Johnson has not allowed a sack. What do you mean? I just watched him allow a sack. And Lane's very good, but like, if they disengage with the defensive end and that defensive end gets a sack, they don't credit the sack to the offensive lineman.
Right.
Wait a minute. What?
Yep.
Like if Jalen Hurts is flushed out of the pocket and gets sacked because, Micah Parsons beats Lane Johnson around the edge, they don't credit Lane Johnson with the sack. I watched him give up sacks last year. I think Lane is great. I think he's one of the best offensive linemen in football. You're not going to convince me he's better than Penei Sewell of the Detroit Lions now. I think in his prime, he was better. And when I watched Jordan Mailata play anyone outside of Jarrett Verse, and Jarrett Verse on snow beat Jordan Mailata like he stole something, I think Jordan Mailata is the better tackle. And another guy that does not get nearly the credit he deserves, and I'll say this out loud, and I don't care what you say to me, I think last year, one of the best tackles in football was Joe Alt of the Los Angeles Chargers. He was incredible. The guy coming out of Notre Dame was the number 5 overall pick. He is a Hall of Famer. Him and Penei Sewell will be the best tackles in football for the next 10 years. Book it. Book it. So I think Lane's was a Lifetime Achievement Award. I think Madden is fun. I think it's a great conversation piece. But with that being said, and you're not going to convince me that Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. No.
Thank God. Thank God. I do have one before we get out of here, if you want to hear it.
I'm ready. Of course.
Ice-T. Ice-T said that the big 3 may not have $5 million. They had $5 million for our girl from the Fever there.
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah. But they may not have $5 million from another star from the WNBA. I want to hear Mo's opinion on that one, Mo.
You know what? I thought that was I thought Ice was being extremely honest, right?
Right.
He was saying the quiet part out loud. Point blank. Period. Angel isn't the draw that Caitlin Clark is. He just said it. He made it plain. Like, might not have $5 million for Angel. I can't hate on that. He's a businessman, and he's trying to bring in somebody that can bring in a fan base and draw and put seats in the stands. I wouldn't have $5 million for her either.
Isn't the big 3 not the pro wrestling of basketball, Gene?
I mean,
it's about drawing people. It's about bringing in eyeballs. It's about bringing in money. It's about bringing in sponsors.
Right.
Well, then let me spin it for you then. Shouldn't the big 3 be what the WNBA is trying to be? Because bringing in eyeballs, bringing in sponsors, or bringing in money is what the WNBA should be trying to do, and they almost do the opposite.
Correct.
So, and I think the WNBA is a much better viewer. Like, I don't want to watch Lance Stevenson go one-on-one with Michael Beasley. Like, that's not entertaining to me. I want to watch good basketball, good team basketball, and the WNBA provides that. I think they do a terrible job of marketing, whereas the big 3 is trying to go way towards the marketing aspect. And if we're being honest, he said, I have $5 million for Caitlin Clark, but I don't have it for Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark would get absolutely humiliated in the big 3.
Yes.
Angel Reese would not be able to play at all. At least Caitlin can step back and jump from like the logo shooting threes because they won't guard her that far out far. But Angel Reese wouldn't get a rebound. She wouldn't get a block shot. They would bully her every time in the paint. We're talking about 6'7", 6'8" men. Whereas at least Caitlin has a shot. Now, if in the big 3, I'll make this very clear, they would switch to her every time and destroy Caitlin Clark off the dribble. Yes. She would stop no one. She would be worse than Luka is as a Laker.
Correct.
The one person that you might think about putting that money towards in the future would be Juju Watkins, who's my favorite player coming out of USC.
I love Juju, but I think she would struggle too. I think when people, if you don't watch the big 3, I would tell people this: go watch it. First, you have to realize that it's a half-court set.
Yep.
Secondly, you have to realize like the old rules are in play. They allow all the physicality, including hand checking. It is a completely different game. And so I think that impacts people who are finesse players or perimeter players immediately. And you're right. You put Angel Reese, who is a dominant force in the post in her own league, into that half court set with these 6'8", 6'7" dudes that weigh 240, 250, what is she going to be able to? And I'm just being real. It's not going to happen.
None of them would. None of them. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to any women at all. It's just a different physique. I have this conversation all the time, and you guys can stop me if you think I'm wrong, and I'll be like 30 seconds, and then we got to wrap up. But I think the best WNBA team, the WNBA champions or the Olympic team or whoever you want to put together is the best WNBA team, would struggle to win against a D2 men's basketball team. I think that's about the comp level to where you're at, like a mid-tier D2 men's basketball team versus the best WNBA team is where, because the problem isn't if they're more skilled. They're more skilled. The problem is that D2 men's basketball team has a guy that's 6'10" on it and is 100 pounds more weight and is going to create such problems on the glass that it will not be something that you can deal with.
Well, isn't it a similar conversation with the national champion from college football and the worst team in the NFL?
I think that's a little different, but you're right.
That national championship team is never going to beat the worst team in the NFL year over year. Even when it was the 0-16 Lions, the terrible Cleveland break, they're never going to beat that team.
All you have to do is look at the Carolina Panthers and how much Bryce Young struggled and how much he did anything he wanted to when he was at Alabama. It's a totally different sport. The physicality levels are absolutely insane. Tonight on Wire to Wire, we'll be going over our cornerbacks list and our safeties list. We both have put our top 10s in. I'll give you a hint. PS2 and Kyle Hamilton are my number ones in both. But the rest of them, you're going to have to tune in tonight. We'll obviously have some MLB trade deadline conversation. But it should be a fun show tonight. We're really getting towards more of the debates. Want to strike up a lot more arguments. Me and Cottrell are going to go at it this week in trivia. So actually, it's me and Shally this week. But any final comments, gentlemen? Oh, also make sure you tune in to PND tonight. They're going to break down the full baseball trade deadline. That's for you, Tony. Chris, I love having you on. Always fun. Always welcome. Anytime. Any final comments, Chris?
No, always a pleasure being here. A couple injury updates in the NFL. Ravens tight end likely has a broken foot, and Dolphins cornerback Kader Kohou is going to miss the entire season because, we got so many corners in Miami. Jesus.
Tons. Mo, any final comments before we close out?
Not at all. I'm good to go. Great show.
All right, close this out, my friend.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Make sure you check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network, we appreciate you.
Thank you. See you guys tomorrow.